when we started initially working on this story, we have set ourselves one question: why? How could one benefit from taking over a neighboring state? And answering it was not so easy.
On the 22nd of February 2022, the Russian Federation, which has previously amassed more than 200,000 troops and hardware near Ukrainian's border, launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. On the eve of the aggression, Putin publicly asserted Ukraine an artificially created state posing a threat to Russia and Russian-speaking population. A couple of days later, Russia announces start of a military campaign as a measure to secure the following: protection of Ukraine's Russian-speaking population, to denazify Ukraine, and the demilitarization of Ukraine.
These are hard even to discuss. Earlier, following the round of peace talks, Ukrainian authorities have repeatedly stated that Russian participants themselves failed even to explain the meaning of these claims.
If you type a question why Russia invades Ukraine over YouTube, you will find a few explainers. Mostly, they address the issue from several points of view: military strategy, political and economic. However, these theories are little in line with the real geopolitical picture. Experts state, among them in particular, that Russia seeks to retake the Black Sea oil deposits, presumably discovered in the Ukrainian exclusive economic zone in 2012. However, a source close to the state company Naftogaz told us that at this point it is impossible to assess the volume of oil stored on the shelf. They are currently controlled by Russian troops after the occupation of Crimea in 2014.
The more obvious the statement is, it's harder to confirm. The takeover of Ukraine would bring Russia nothing but losses, neither economically nor politically.
The maximum economic benefit is, I don't know, maybe access to the North Crimean Canal. Apparently for Crimea this is critically important. When you say, well, look, there must be some economic goals, then look here, Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, and every year Russia spends about $5 billion to maintain that territory. So it's not an income, it's an expense. Putin doesn't play economics. The impact of sanctions on Russia's economy. Putin has a concept in his head again: Russia will cope with sanctions, that in the end, sanctions will only make them stronger. Again, it seems to me that this has to do with the fact that he doesn't get adequate information about what's going on in the economy, or he thinks that his geopolitical gains, confirmation of that very great power status, are worth the economic losses that Russia will surely someday experience.
However, there are some benefits from the siege of Ukraine. We concluded that they exist in the very imagination of the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Mental health experts observe an acute mental disorder affecting Putin's behavior and statements and actions and everything else.
We can observe Putin's narcissism traits, strongly evident ones. One of the main criteria for detecting narcissism is the inability to tolerate the opinion of others, a tendency to consider one's own opinion as the only true. We can observe delusions of grandeur, paranoid conspiracy. He doesn't even approach his closest associates. He keeps a very big distance between himself and them. Even at the meeting with the French president, they were sitting at different corners of a very long table, which also raises doubts about his trust in those around him. As we know, Putin is a failed KGB man. He would like to succeed, but it didn't happen. And so he's starting to replay his spy game now.
He does not like the fact that there is an independent Ukrainian nation and a country that he has always considered in orbit of Moscow influence, and now his troops are trying to wipe Ukrainian cities out of existence and make it look like this country has never existed.
Many people call Putin a psychopath, but he is not. Psychopath is not a deserved compliment for this man. Psychopaths are cold, cynical, yet cruel, and they walk over corpses. He takes flattery for granted, and he takes people's criticism as condemnation, so there is no one around him who simply expresses their point of view and criticizes. He is easy to manipulate. All one needs is to tell him what Putin wants to hear, and he will do it. He is deceived by his generals. You could say that Putin has had this for a long time, because there have been many acts of this nature, attacks on other states under various pretexts of pseudo-rescue.
Putin, don't forget, take your pills. This is what they should have said him earlier. Now it's too late. Nick Starkov for UATV News.